my volume up, and I will turn yours volume up, and ta-da! Wah!
And there it is.
There we go. Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and welcome back to our Around the Hearth chat. Before we get into anything, just a disclaimer. This is an adult podcast that sometimes features adults that sometimes use adult language. You have been warned.
Thanks, Dad.
The Pathfather has spoken. All right. What we're talking about today is not a conversion. It's not a character or creation conversion or anything like that.
It's not a conversion. You can stick around.
You can stick around. We're actually just going to spout our opinions about the new core rulebook, at least what we know about it, for Pathfinder 2nd edition. So, that's what we're going to do. All right? Now, before we start, we have some announcements. Yes. Still, as this is going out, where you have a giveaway for the... I guess it's a splat book, is the best way to describe it. It's a little compendium not compendium. It's a little splat book that goes along with 5th edition, which I don't personally play, but I saw this and thought this would make a good giveaway for Rick and Morty. So, grab your plumbuses and dive into Dungeons and Dragons, because that's what's going to be the giveaway this coming time.
And we have some objects to give away in the months coming after that, if I can find where I've put them.
Did you lose those dice?
I really fucking hope not.
Jesus.
They were really goddamn expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
then.
not in these. Oh, I bet they're in a backpack somewhere. Probably they had better be.
Oh, well, there you go. We'll be giving away some dice after that, apparently. So, there we go. And we will say thank you, Kane, for that when it comes around.
Goddamn.
Oh.
I'll find them. I will.
We'll find him.
Don't you worry.
He'll probably find him mid-chat and then be like, "I found him," and then show him to us.
The problem is they're dice covered in like the yellow sign and the mark of the Necronomicon and shit like that. So I'm kind of worried about where they've gotten to.
I've done freaked myself out.
They'll find their way back. Don't worry.
Yeah, they'll find me.
Yeah.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Just keep staring into the darkness. You'll see them eventually.
Have you seen the yellow sign?
Have you read The King in Yellow?
I put that in the Tomb of Horrors once. It was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I like the King in Yellow story. But that's aside the point. We're going to be talking about that. Do we have any announcements before we go into this from Black Dragon Gaming?
We do not.
Okay. So, as our final announcement, we like to remind you that all of the content that you see on this channel is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Now, let's get into this. First thing we want to talk about is the cover art, and I like it. I like that they kept the red dragon, and all that. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't put Valros on the cover, but I get it. New character.
He doesn't get enough love, man. Have you read the Dark Horse comics or the Dynamite comics? Sorry, not the Dark Horse comics, the Dynamite comics.
I've looked through some of them. Can't say I've
They
read
treat
them.
Valeros like garbage.
Oh, I got that part from the interactions that they had. Yeah.
I don't even know why he's there. They spend all of their free time like calling him stupid.
Well, he is the fighter.
I mean, yeah, but he's also like stalwart and loyal, and I mean he's kind of stupid, but stalwart and loyal and like good to have in a fight, and they just spend all of their time just ragging on him.
I don't know. I mean, he's not dumb. He's an 8. He's below average, but he's not, like you said, he's not an idiot.
There's a chunk in his paragraph-long backstory. He has the shortest backstory out of any iconic about how he knows how to read and write, which is something his parents, who are simple farmers, do not know how to do.
We'll see.
Well, good for
Smarter than
him.
them.
He did it.
Good for him.
But
Good for you.
I like the art pretty well. It seems, I don't know, it seems a bit more angular than as Wayne Reynolds continues to draw. He continues to get more angular. I see, but
Adam, do we want to do like the things we like about the art first and the things we don't like afterwards?
okay. So things we like about the art. Kane, things you like about the art.
So I like the composition. I think the lighting's done really well. I think it's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I like the posing. I'm a little worried about them all just about to be fricasseed by dragon breath. But I like it. I really like the way that the cover's composed. I think it's beautiful.
Why'd you all stand in one spot? But, okay. Yes, very nice. Tommy, what you like about the front cover?
I kind of like the playtest one better. I'm not gonna lie. I like that both Harsk and oh god, the Rogue Mauricio. I like how they're getting the like. They are iconics we don't necessarily see. I guess we saw them in Doomsday Dawn too, but like on the cover of the thing. Whereas I don't remember who's on the core rulebook in Legacy Pathfinder. I think it's Valoros.
Yeah, it's Valor Sione, and I think Mauricio's there?
No.
Well,
I
in
know
any
she
case,
was too. She's probably there, hiding, waiting for the sneak attack. There, she's there somewhere.
In spirit, I like Hearth's beard is a little pointy for my tastes.
No, it's just Valor.
Yeah, got it. But like, I like seeing iconics we don't often see. I like also, I guess they had to do this as well in the top right, the like second edition, so no one gets confused. Also, the font has changed quite a lot. It looks a lot more like Pathfinder, the title, compared to what it looked like before.
Okay.
The P looks a little weird, but the rest of it is a little like crisper, I will say. And it makes it look a little like, I wish I would have kept the P, but everything else looks a little better in my opinion.
Okay. All right, Levi, what do you like about the cover?
Well, trying to find things that haven't been stated as of yet.
Okay.
Well, just honestly, I'd say the thing that I like the most is like the sense of motion I get from just about every character in it. It feels like everyone's halfway into an action, so even though it's still like, I get the idea I have a mental image of what the next scene is.
Okay. Ross, what do you think? What do you like about the cover?
I like the environmental detail and whatnot. It does seem kind of cool about that sort of core iconic sort of dungeon style. You know, the more and more I've played TTRPGs, the more and more I've realized you don't see a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, really. You tend to see more open environments, gothic cathedrals. It's kind of funny in that regard. The idea of a dungeon has become less of an actual like underground tavern or cavern sort of series and more just a place in which you fight baddies. And I know that this still seems kind of iconic of a quote-unquote normal dungeon, but you actually can see a bit of sky up in the top, little bit of it, right above the logo, which is kind of neat. And I also like the way the dragon is positioned, as it's very clear he's breaking in and all that sort of stuff, and he's a serious. I just like the thing I like the most is definitely just how they did the dragon. He just looks intimidating as all get up. And that is what's caught my attention.
Cool beans.
It's a pretty good callback to the Legacy Pathfinder book as well, because there's a red dragon on that one too. Kind of like how the OG playtest for first edition had a white dragon on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they've kind of kept that theming going on, which is a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
It lets the Legacy fans from when they first came into being get to see that, get a bit of nostalgia. Things we don't like now. I don't like the dragon's wings because are they in? Are they out? Did he break through? If he did, why is that arch still up there? What's going on, Wayne? But it looks... There's not a lot of bad stuff around it. I wish there might have been some... It does look awkward on the dragon wings. The rest of the dragon's fine, but the dragon wings, I think, that needed to be a bit more clear on whether...
Like, they seem like less like wings and almost more like just giant hands with...
Well, they kind of are, right? They're like bat wings. So he's kind of got these like vestigial finger bones up in where he's got the wingtip here clasped around the inside of the archway.
Right.
So it's kind of feels like he's partially supporting himself, like he's trying to force himself further through the archway.
Right. It just looks kind of awkward because with his skin going back as far as it does, that really stretch it to have him do that. But that's just me. I also don't like how there's only very little treasure. The original one had no treasure, which is just fine. But if you're going to put treasure in it, it's a dragon. Put a bunch more treasure. Would have been just fine without.
Maybe perhaps it's because of the fact they lowered the standard of the economy to silver. Which
the silver standard. That's so much money now.
That's that's like 10 times as much money.
I think that's an excuse.
I mean, I still find it kind of silly. I don't find the idea of reducing the currency down to silver as a bad or silly idea, or anything of that nature. It feels awkward, especially when you consider the fact that magic items and everything are still priced in gold.
They're priced in gold for, I think, simplicity's sake, and because you and I are used to viewing them in gold, but the numbers are much smaller.
Yeah.
Right. It may say
there's also the
5
weirdness
gold,
of,
but it means
well, then
50.
what is platinum? But then again, I guess you only
Platinum
get
is for rich people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
it's
Look, by the
always
time
been
I
for
get
rich
to 4th level, I tend to have enough gold on me that I can... If I'm playing a campaign from level 1 onward, by the time I reach 4th level, I tend to have enough gold to get me at least a few platinum pieces.
Mm-hmm. Well, I usually have enough gold to get a fucking bank account. Because carrying that much money around on you is a good way to get robbed.
The final thing
I'm
I
a
don't like...
dwarf. Nobody's going to touch my pockets.
The final thing I don't like is that Mauricio doesn't necessarily seem lithe anymore. She seems kind of, not just lithe, but spindly. And this was a complaint that I voiced to the guys before about how Amari also looks scrawnier. And I'm not fond of that particular stylistic choice. But other than that, I agree with most everybody's praises for it. How about you, Tommy?
I do agree with Tommy, though. I prefer...
I wanted to go. I
one.
had the shotgun cocked and everything. I just...
Oh,
fire away, son. Go get your son.
I don't like the dragon's face. I think his face looks smushed. It seems all pushed in. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I remember the red dragon's face being like long and powerful. Ha ha ha! It's like an angry fucking alligator that shoots fire and death out of its face. Now he looks like a pug.
No, he got kind of a small, a snouty face before too.
I also disagree. I also dislike how little treasure there is. Why is it even there? I don't understand. Who dragged all this shit up the stairs and left this chest and these 3 amazingly unbroken but now about to be broken vases here?
Yeah.
Why is this here? Is this the dragons? That's a pitiful horde for a dragon. I don't like
That's what I'm saying.
I also agree that Mauricio looks waifish. She looks malnourished.
Yep.
She's got like sunken cheeks and like a weird shadow under her neck. Well, okay, that's just lighting. I'm just nitpicking there. But also, why is she holding her swords like that? If you've ever actually seen someone fight with a parrying dagger and like a rondelle or like a rapier, you don't do that shit. There's none of this open stance nonsense. That's how you get stabbed in the chest. I don't like these axes. The triangle thing, I don't like how angular the weapon is. We're going to get into how I don't like the way Wayne Reynolds tries weapons. Everything is triangles with him. I don't like it. That's bad. There's a reason we don't use pyramid swords anymore. It's because the tips snap off. Now you have a broken sword, no good for stabbing. It's a bad sword. He's a dwarf. They're supposed to be good axes and swords. Why is it pointy? It shouldn't be pointy. I don't like it.
He's a cruddy dwarf.
Hey, Harsk is ostensibly a crappy dwarf.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong based on his
He
backstory.
drinks tea. He doesn't like being underground. He's a ranger,
What?
for fuck's sakes.
Yep.
What?
Hmm.
Yeah, my man's grew up on the plains.
Yeah,
I mean, to be
he's a-
fair, the ranger
after
his
a
brother-
little bit more.
after Harsk's brother died, he became a ranger who specialized in giants, and he spent all of his time like above ground in the plains and in the forests.
Well, to put it into Dragonlance terms, he's a mountain dwarf that
Mhm.
likes to pretend he's a hill dwarf, but ends
Yeah,
up coming out like a gully dwarf.
Ostensibly, he's just he's a dwarf who's really bad at being a dwarf.
But
Which
that's
I don't have a problem with because I'm a big fan of breaking stereotypes with characters. That's why I play halfling strongman. But there's a lot going on this cover that I like, and a lot going on that I'm just like, I don't like that. That's shaded wrong. Why does that look like that? What's with the triangles? His face looks pushed in. It's just
So
don't get
many
it.
triangles.
all right. So the Canadian Rage has been unleashed. Now,
It feels very Bostonian.
Unleash the Canadians from Boston.
so,
All right, then.
Tommy, do you have anything
Time
that you want to say?
Should we perhaps?
For me, it's like, and I know I'm sitting here staring at a book, the Brawler's Bible must be updated because there's dragons. But my thing with Wayne Reynolds, I think the dude obviously like he's a good artist, but for me personally, his art is either like good or it's really, really terrible. A good example of this for me is like if you know anything about nerddom, you know Wayne Reynolds is all over the place, up to and including like D&D stuff and Magic the Gathering. The art on the core rulebook, in my opinion, looks like the art of the Lorwyn block of MTG from what, like 09, I think, something like that, to like just kind of like weird, uncanny valley bad.
Yeah, this feels like a step backwards from the cover of the playtest book.
I concur. It almost feels like the Uncanny Valley, right? Like Harsk's beard looks like it would cut me. Mariziel looks like I did when I was walking around as a type 1 diabetic and no one told me, but worse. And I guess no one's ragged on Kyra yet.
Yeah, because Kira actually looks like a human.
She has
Yeah,
curves.
Kyra
She looks like a
actually
living
looks-
person that could be alive.
Her
Yeah,
design has
Kyra actually
curves
looks
on it.
pretty cool in my opinion. I thought she looks fine,
Yeah,
especially
Kyra came out
compared to
fine,
her
yeah.
freaking like anorexic friend in the dude made of triangles over here.
And like Harsk's what he's holding in his right hand, if I remember correctly, because all of the weapons are supposed to have like flavorful art for ancestries. I believe that is a dwarven war axe.
It is.
Kind of just looks like I could believe that it's a hammer with a whoop at the bottom.
It's supposed to look like a dwarven head with a helmet and a beard, and the beard is the axe because it's a bearded axe. But it's a badly designed weapon.
Yeah, it just looks like it would break. Also, the foreground background of the core rulebook for me, I'm kind of having a lot of problems making heads or tails of it. It looks very tilty for no reason. It looks like
Well, they're using a Dutch angle on purpose.
that's a thing. I see. For me, that's like the dragon is in the background, the party is in the foreground, and they're just kind of like, here's an image, here are 3 more images, Photoshop. And
No, I
here we are.
agree. I agree with Tommy. It feels like Harsk, Kira, Mariciel, and the rock they're standing on are a separate image that was put together and then like pasted on top of them.
Oh my god!
I can
Now that
see
you
that.
point that out, I can't unsee it.
Hmm.
I'm
I
graphic design
really can't. You guys are right.
I do what I can.
Well, that's probably what he did. He worked on layers, and he did.
Of course.
Yeah,
But like his
when it's
job is
put
to make it
together,
look like not bad.
yeah. From the guy who actually has graphic art experience or graphic
Indeed.
design experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And also, like the wall is tilted weird, and I almost want to say non-Euclidean is the best word to describe it, because I know I can see the shapes, but my mind is trying to like set the core rulebook right as I look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and in the
that'll
process
probably
of doing
happen with a
so,
lot of people. Because
and my
Dutch-
brain is kind of dividing by 0.
what happens is when you have a book, it has right angles on it, and so you expect everything to be arranged by the right angle. But that Dutch angle, they may be doing it on purpose, and this would look. I think this would look a lot better as a full page type shot rather than a full cover shot, because see this
concur.
full cover, it's straight on. You got a straight on, right angled thing, and they're sloping upward, so you still get some dynamic in it. But this one, you guys are right, doesn't. So.
Man, you know what makes it worse too is the image is cocked at a slight angle, like all of Paizo's books are when you look at preview art. But
So
this
they can
cocked
tell the
angle
spine.
makes and this cocked angle is set in such a way that the red dragon, who I agree with Kane, looks like a combination of a pug and a pit fiend, because he's got the 4 horns that make him
That's
look.
what it is.
He does
It's
have a pit
the
fiendy
pit
face.
fiend tail. That's what it is. I couldn't pin down what it was that his mouth and the horns reminded me of, but it's a pit fiend.
Nah, you know what? Actually, no. He looks like one of the other bits of Wayne Reynolds art
Are
that
we
I
even
don't
certain
like.
that that's a dragon?
Yeah,
I'd be
yes.
happy. I could take it as a half demon, half dragon, or something with its eyes. That's
Oh,
The
dragons
you're
have
saying
more-
my
reason, the reason
own
we can
nose.
be certain that it is because there are 2 iconic races in Pathfinder that I think have been mishandled as far as the art goes. The Goblin, and they're just take a bunch of toothpicks and jam on for the teeth, and the Hobgoblin, who used to be one of my favorite races, and now just like looks like a big goblin.
Oh,
They
yeah.
both have those beady little crappy eyes,
See,
which it's
I love hobgoblins. I can't tell you why, but I love hobgoblins. I like goblins.
As a culture, I like them. As a designed race in Pathfinder, I like them significantly less than I like the 3.5's Hobgoblin.
Well,
I like
their
5e's
art.
interpretation of them far more than I like.
and it's
them
funny
in
how
Pathfinder.
like the 3.5 Hobgoblin is also like, at least what Lucia tells me, is like unplayably bad compared
Yeah.
to Pathfinder's
No, they're
Hobgoblin.
not great.
The art that I liked for Hobgoblin that sold me on it was the Iron Skin Monk Hobgoblin.
The one
That
that's like
part is
got his
sweet.
arms crossed, right?
Yeah, he's
And
got his
yeah.
arms, got all these scars, gray skin, bald, ready to rock. That Hobgoblin looks cool. That's what sold me on
does.
Hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins
all
in
Hobgoblins
3.5
have-
were also like orange.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
were. I thought they were like lime green.
No, that's
3.5 goblins and
it's still being
hobgoblinoids. 3.5 goblins.
In any case, as it pertains to here, it's just the art here seems like a step backwards, which I suppose is something they can do to both differentiate themselves from Legacy Pathfinder's art and 5e's art, which is like, to what little I've seen, is as realistic looking as possible to look like a different product. That said, it feels like it hurts my head to look at this thing.
5e's art has a lot of painting like art.
Yeah, it feels
doesn't
more like
have
a
a lot.
proper. It feels like a
Line.
painting, almost. I wouldn't say it feels realistic.
stylistically, I really like 5e's art.
I
do
like
I
as
like a
well,
lot
but
of
that's because I
5e's
like
better.
Watsy's art. Like I love
Yeah.
magic art. Just
Okay.
Wayne Reynolds sometimes is really good. Sometimes Wayne Reynolds makes my head hurt. This is the Lorwyn block all over again.
All right.
Yeah.
Levi, do you have any comments about the looks of the Pathfinder core book?
Hobgoblins.
No, you can't get your own
I can tell
hobgoblins.
the person I'm not as opinionated.
You are not.
Sure. The whole scene just feels smushed compared to like I've got my playtest rulebook and there's like space and other things. There's more of a background and it feels like we're really zoomed in, and I think that's part of what makes it feel weird.
That's another thing I just thought of that I don't like it. I think the playtest rulebook does a whole lot better than the first edition does, or this one does. It shows what makes it different. For Pete's sake, it has a goblin alchemist on the front cover. And the more you think about it, the more you realize that's a major thing, because that's not something you can do in 5e. That's not a core race in 5e. That wasn't even a core race until now for Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, that'd be a
And
good
they
selling
make
point.
that character a very clear frontal focal point.
That'd be a
it's
good
like-
selling point. Because there's lots of people that
Yeah,
like
it shows where
goblins.
it's different. It's iconic to Pathfinder.
See, if they replaced,
Oh.
if they made Mauricio less anemic and
Please.
replaced
Like, I love
Harsk
my little
with
goblin alchemy boy.
fungus.
I love him. He's so like, I love his little smile, and I can look at him and go, "Yep, that's Pathfinder. That is Pathfinder right there."
Yeah.
You know,
I
just
I do as well. I also agree that Fundus should. I mean, he's on the Inner Sea World Guide, the Inner Sea 2 Electric Boogaloo. He's on that, and that art looks good. Also,
oh, he looks like he's just having a ball. I love his character
minus
art.
the teeth. The teeth hurt me. That's not what goblin teeth look like.
well, I don't
He's
know.
not
That looks
continuous
pretty
here.
accurate to Paizo goblin teeth. I don't know.
I just find
I'm
him.
not against
I just
Paizo's.
like him like that. He looks like he's just happy and is kind of being unwittingly dragged along by the rest of the party, just like a goblin alchemist normally would be, like stereotypical. It just makes me happy.
Fair enough.
I want them to redo this cover with Anisette Ravid on it.
All
Shout
right.
out to the Wheel and Woe podcast.
I need the Goblin Alchemist back. Bring it back.
All right.
I agree 100%.
Let's actually talk about the blurb that they put out about it. Okay. So switch over to that, you guys. And it says this is a comprehensive 640-page guide to the Pathfinder role-playing game and provides everything you need to set out on the world of limitless fantasy adventure. Choose from ancestries like elf, human, and goblin, and classes like alchemist, fighter, and sorcerer to create a hero of your own design, destined to become a legend. Based on more than 20 years of active development and playtest feedback from more than 125,000 gamers, the new Pathfinder rules are easy to learn and exciting to master. This indispensable volume contains all rules for players and game masters and is your first step to a new heroic journey. So, on that blurb, that 20 years of active development, that's a misnomer.
Yeah, that's misleading. So at 640 pages, we have almost a full 100 pages more than the first edition rulebook, which is interesting because more content is always interesting. But if this front cover is anything to go off of, I'm not sure how excited I am about that extra 100 pages being full of stuff that I actually want to read.
Now, there's a difference between reading and looking at.
This is true.
This is true.
And I feel like the thing about having a bigger book is I don't know what MSRP for, I guess now it's probably lower, but at the time, the core rulebook for Pathfinder, like 2 years ago, I don't know if it was $60. I could see it being $60.
It's right
Again,
about it.
So it seems to me like if they're a similar price, you're literally paying, like, you are getting more bang for your buck to do so. And
There's a difference between getting a lot for your money and getting a lot of quality for your money.
I agree. And I also think that the quality is like, there were very few, like, take the playtest by itself. Do not compare it to like Legacy Pathfinder or another system. It felt like a quality game by and large in the playtest rulebook. It was what it was.
It was a playtest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, adding on more, like, I'm not worried about the quality of the game. And again, if we're getting more out of it, I guess it just comes down to exactly what that more is. A part of me, I put a video out today about it. And
I know, I watched it.
Thank you. I didn't bring it up. I should have. I thought about it and then forgot about it. Starfinder's core rulebook has a little, like, at the end of it for the Pact Worlds. It's not the Pact Worlds guide, but it's like, it's a start. You know what I mean? I have to wonder if that might be where those extra pages come from, is like a little bit of like, here's the Inner Sea region, ha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Well, I feel like they did that for Starfinder because Starfinder was basically a new setting that they needed to explain. And they didn't do a playtest like they did with this one. They just launched it.
Yeah.
So they needed to do a playtest on it, but they didn't. They just launched it.
Yeah, that was not the best idea.
Yeah, and we've talked about our issues with Starfinder.
Right.
There's a big part of me that will always maintain that Starfinder did not have a playtest because Starfinder was the alpha for 2e, in the
Yeah,
same
and
way
it shouldn't
that
have
Star
been.
Wars, WotC's Star Wars was the alpha for 4e,
Right.
which is awkward business practices, but that's my thought.
Right. Awkward and doesn't make you money. Look how 4e performed. Look at how 2e's playtest was reacted to.
I
Learn
mean,
lessons.
if they've taken real serious consideration into all the feedback they got about how the game has been playing and how the mechanics interact with each other, then maybe the full release will be something that I personally deem worth playing. But if it's just more of the same in what we've seen from the playtest thus far, I think I'm gonna give this edition a skip. I think this is gonna, like, if that's what second edition ends up being, I think that this is gonna be Pathfinder's 4th edition, which is really depressing because this is literally their first independent go at making a system that isn't just like
The
deliberate,
OGL.
deliberately based upon a system that's no longer in print.
Putting into context the page count with their playtest, it's 428, 29, 30, 31, 32, 30-ish, 430-ish. So they're adding 200 something pages.
210. About.
Yeah. So I'm not going to write it off. In fact, I'm going to buy the book, but I'm going to buy it for the channel so that I can see and stuff like that. Oh, Paizo, if you're listening, include the PDFs with physical copies bought, okay? Include the PDFs, people.
Never
If
seen
if
you
that.
look
someone
on,
is
they
willing to
specifically have
play-
in the in the questions beneath it that they're not going to do that.
Oh, I know. And I'm like,
They can charge more money if you have to pay separately.
Right. I'll tell you right now, Paizo, if I'm buying a physical copy and I'm not going to get a PDF, I will pirate that because I deserve a PDF.
We
I'm
didn't. We
paying
didn't
you
scroll
quality
down.
money. It's same money, Paizo. It doesn't I know how PDFs work. It doesn't cost you a bunch of money to make a PDF. You make it once. It's not like a book you have to print. There. That's my rant on the PDF. It should be included with the physical bought copy. But that aside, okay?
There, he said it.
I said it.
Sorry, I just wanted to say really quick. We didn't scroll down to look at the comments on this article you posted. Literally, the first comment is about how they don't like the Red Dragon design.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't like the
So
Red Dragon
Paladin.
design, but the rest looks good. So the Paladin is called Champion. Yeah, I do. That
And
is
then
something I like.
right under it, literally right under it, will this order include the PDF version, or is that only if you get it through the subscription?
And
Yeah.
its PDF version is with you do not get with a pre-order. You don't get it with a pre-order. That will be purchased separately. You know, if this is like I'm not pre-ordering. I'm probably not going to pre-order this. I won't say I won't, but I'm probably not going to pre-order this because
This reminds me of what just happened with the game I love, but oh well.
Okay. Trying to get back to the 600 page count and why I don't necessarily think that's the best thing to do. Pathfinder is not an unestablished world. Okay. Golarion is an established setting. Pathfinder is trying to make its established setting part of its core, which is understandable. You know, they did that with first edition, probably partially because they wanted to, but also partially to legally distinguish themselves from D&D.
Mm-hmm.
But now they don't have to do that. They have their own system. So rely on people's curiosity about Pathfinder to get into it, because I didn't care about the world setting stuff as much when I first got into it, because I wanted to know about the game. I wanted to know if I could play the game. The world came after that. And most new players are going to be that way. They're going to want to know how to play the game. And you're adding 100+ more pages onto your previous rule book. And this was supposed to be the edition that you were saying was easier to get into. And I don't know. It's Paizo sending mixed signals. I love that the book may be bigger, but if someone looks at this size of a book and then looks at a 5e book size, and I don't necessarily say you should do that. That's not what I'm trying to say. But Ross knows what I'm talking about. The size of a 5e book is a lot smaller than the size of a Paizo book. For good reason.
To be fair though, 5e called in every level past 10.
So I don't think it's going to be a bad release necessarily. I don't think it's going to be a bad game necessarily. I don't know that it's going to live up, especially if we look at the past and see how much of this is devoted to actual rules and how much of this is devoted to just tables and art. And I like the art. I'm not complaining about the art.
I like tables when they're well organized. It's easier to follow them.
Oh yes, hopefully they learned from second edition playtest's organization. Not super awesome. But
yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. It says it's got the basic 12 character classes. It's got 30 backgrounds, which is nice. Nice to have 30 backgrounds. Does that account for that much of an increase in pages?
Well, it depends on how much space each background takes up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they take up what they take up in the playtest, it's not that much, and there's only 30 of them. And I say only 30 of them because
well, more than 30.
Yeah,
more than 30, which means it's like probably 32 to 35 or something like that. Well, 32 to 34, because usually when they hit 35, they say almost 40. Or something like that for marketing.
That's fair.
But,
and I imagine those can't be that big. Yeah, you're right, because it's just kind of like you get a dupe, and you are a that, and here's a pep. Basically, that's why you can make 30 of them really easily, because they're just kind of like flavorful good. And every AP, if Doomsday Dawn is any indicator, is going to that are native to it, and they're just going to keep rolling out every time.
Right. So you got the 6 character ancestries, you got 30 backgrounds, you've got the basic 12 classes with subclasses.
Well, it's every base class plus alchemist from first edition.
Yeah,
right. The 12. They've got the core 12 now, which is good. We all like that the alchemist is in there.
Nice. I feel like it's important to mention the alchemist because the alchemist is notably. Jesus.
You stop that.
Because the Alchemist is notably a character class that does not exist in 5th edition. And I feel like they're leading with the Alchemist into 2nd edition as the people are like, hey, look, we have the thing, you throw the bombs. 5e doesn't do this.
It doesn't do it in core. They did come out with stuff that does it.
Yeah, you can do the unearthed arcana.
Well,
like
the Arcanist
Artificer
isn't even officially done. It isn't even officially or I don't think
Not
it's
the
legally
Arcanist. You mean the Artificer, right?
Artificer.
No, the Artificers has an official unearthed arcana version. That
but
great.
Those are
they're revising it because
those are like playtest materials for 5th edition. I'm pretty certain that's not even legal in their own like tournament stuff.
Yeah. And it also doesn't do the same things. Like the Artificer is like a tinkerer class, not a. It just doesn't mechanically and flavorfully necessarily do the same thing the Alchemist does.
To be fair,
which just leads back to what I said before. Like it feels like
it reminds me they're trying to do with it kind of what 5e has become known for with the Warlock.
Eldritch Blast.
More so like it's a class that's unique to their system, and the way it works is dependent upon how their system works.
Yeah, and they like it doesn't. I don't know.
And y'all know which one I
feel
prefer.
like the Warlock. I think I prefer the Warlock. I think it has better roleplay potential.
I
But the
concur.
Warlock is amazing in that response too, because not only is it a mechanically interesting class with how you can build it, but it's also has some of the greatest role-playing potential just built
And-
into the class.
I say this
Very much.
after spending 2 years with Adam playing probably my favorite alchemist ever,
Ignatius.
Oh.
Ignatius Ferdinand Kaufmann.
Oh man, he had such a tragic end too.
Oh, he did. But I like. If I had tried to play Ignatius as a warlock, I think he might have been more interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. We played him pretty well. We played him up pretty well.
We could have, but I feel like I could have used the exact same story with a warlock for him. He just would have he would have made a deal instead of
Barbados.
taking-
drugs.
instead of taking drugs.
So much safer.
But he wouldn't have
Hurrah!
made.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, just as dangerous and taxing on his. The difference is the drugs were incredibly taxing on his body. The
And
deal would have been incredibly taxing on his soul,
Sounds like the best Gestalt character you could ever play.
right?
Why not both?
My
Tax all the
alchemist
things.
warlock.
So we like the alchemist. We like that. If they fix the barbarian, that's great. The bard.
I
was
think the
playable.
barbarian needs major overwork.
Mhm.
Well, not
They
major.
nerfed him.
I
So
feel like if they
hard.
didn't get a ridiculous wave of negative feedback over the temporary errata for the barbarian, it's just a non-class.
Yeah. If they didn't
I
fix
agree.
the barbarian with the way that fatigue works and the way that their stuff works as far as rage per day, not even rage per day, just rage rounds, I don't like it. I don't think it's going to work well for them. And if they didn't fix it, there's going to be problems in their games.
Yeah, like dead
The
barbarians
Barbarian's just
everywhere.
going to become an unplayed class.
Exactly.
Like, forget Unchained. You're going to need a complete rework of it to the point of which, people just will not use it.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
bard.
really quick.
Hmm?
Sorry, you finish whatever your thought was.
I was just saying that the bard is actually nice. It's playable. It's good.
Bard
I
is
like
fun.
some of the reworks.
The Bard is fun. I like
Yeah.
the change to the Bard.
Okay? So I'm not 100% sure what the change to the bard is because I don't. Maybe we stopped playing before I had to actually
Well-
alter Cashew.
The change to the bard is Inspire Courage. Bardic Performance isn't just tick on for X rounds, it's cantrips that
Yeah.
turn and go.
Switching around
Which-
different buffs and stuff like that was
So
real easy.
that is nice, but the fact
They're also
that
a
Bardic
Bowcaster now.
Inspiration or Bardic Inspire Competence
Mhm.
or Inspire Courage. Inspire Courage never becomes greater than a +1
Mhm.
is not great.
Yeah, even with your accuracy and bound accuracy and stuff like that, and the lower numbers, comparatively speaking, it doesn't. A +1, sure, it's going to
Yeah,
save your butt in a tight
+1 to
squeeze.
hit is not great past level 5.
And
Like-
stacking buffs
The extra
was
damage dice sounds nice again until after a certain level point, and then it's just like, oh yeah, I'll add another D8 to my pile of 12.
well. Another thing that I found with them is buffing got tricky because there weren't enough types of bonuses for you to do like you said, a significant enough buff to make a difference in most of the swings of the sword or axe or whatever.
It felt weak. Like it was doing what it wanted. When I was playing Cashew, I felt like the class was doing what I wanted. I was just doing a really watered down version of what I wanted out of it. Adam got what he wanted. It's a champion now.
Yes.
It's a champion, and you can choose from a number of different alignments, I assume, and then
yes.
the different
Okay.
alignments have
So far.
different names depending on what you pick.
Mhm.
I guess the lawful good champion is still a paladin.
Of course.
And then, the neutral good is something else, and the chaotic good is something else, and the lawful evil is something else, and so on and so forth.
I don't think the non-good ones exist yet.
Yeah,
They
right now it's
should,
just those
Paizo.
three.
Go whole
They
hog
do
in
though,
it.
because
Yeah, I was
There's
going to say
a-
they should, though. That it's ridiculous to say that only champions of good exist.
No.
and also
I
in
don't have the
Doomsday
rules.
Dawn there is an anti-paladin. My group didn't fight her, but she's there. She's in the book. She has her own unique abilities.
Did
Her
they
name is
call
Henna.
it an
She's-
anti-paladin?
Yes,
Hmm.
Henna the anti-paladin. She leads a group
Don't make-
of bad boys.
Don't
and she
make
has her
any
own.
of the evils anti-anything, okay, Paizo? Give them a cool name.
I concur. I didn't like the name paladin that much myself, but hers
Paladin's
was
pretty
like
awful. Good.
it's like when you crit, you make a bad thing happen with your crit. I forget. I didn't. Again, my party did not fight her.
Yeah.
But she exists. She is there. She is a thing, and there's no reason that thing can't exist moving forward.
The cleric felt good. The druid, I don't think any of us played.
Yeah.
I played a cleric, and I can say that it did feel pretty good, and you could be good at what you wanted to do. If you wanted to be the healer, like when I play a cleric, I kind of like to play the healer. It was okay as long as you didn't have templates on you that let you cast Cure Light Wounds on yourself.
Yeah, get off
Tommy.
me. As far as the druid goes, I both played in GM for several druids. The druid feels, I really like. I can't think of what it's called now to save my life, but the storm druid's power that could debuff you and was damage. Tempest Blast, yes, that one. However, Robin, I think on like 4 occasions across a couple characters because he really enjoyed it, played the wild shaping druid. The thing about the wild shaping druid is your armor class literally falls off to wild shape, because you can't benefit from like a mage armor, say, and rather than have the proficiency based armor that everyone else has, you just have a flat number. That number is lower than the druid's armor class before the wild shape. So when he played Tugar the first time in Pale Mountain Shadow, and my man's is going up against gnolls and dire hyenas and stuff, he's wrecking, and it was sweet to watch. But then when he comes back in the one where they all die, the Heroes of Undoran, he comes back and plays that, and he's turning into a dragon. The dragon has a lower armor class than Tugar's standing armor class, which seems wrong. If
Well,
you
that's 'cause
have
they lowered
built
the
to
power
do
of dragons
this.
too.
But like, it's not just because he turned into a dragon. It's just like the disparity was less noticeable at level 5 than it was at level 13. Because then he played Tugar. He didn't play Tugar. He played a different goblin again in like the next one after that.
Well, that just
And
leads to
it's
True Namer territory, if you're familiar with the problem.
Yeah, True Namer, I've tried to work out how to play it and have fun.
Yeah, there's no way. There is no good way to do it. True Namer in 3.5, if you're familiar with it, was a class that was released in... I can't honestly remember the name of the book.
It was a weird... It had that. It had 2 other weird types of casting.
Yeah. But the True Namer was like an off-caster from 3.5 that had a mechanic where it would... True Name. It would use... It was basically like a Words of Power caster. But the mechanic it used to implement its spellcasting actually became incrementally more difficult the higher level you were. So you were basically a wizard that got... you got access to higher level spells, but you got shittier at casting magic the more experience you got.
And
So
there
just
were
dip.
certain ones that didn't work properly, and... Yeah.
Seems bad.
I
Yeah,
GM'd
correct.
for a
It
True
was
Namer Pathfinder form, and let me tell you what, when they do work though, the freaking things are busted.
I have
Oh,
to
yeah,
imagine
no,
it's. I know the True Namer you're talking about. That class is different. I think.
This True Namer is his own thing. If you get to real high level and you have magic items of boosting stats and you've done all the rolling optimization you can effectively gate at will. But until then, this is not good.
Yeah, until then, real bad.
I had to deal with a person who managed to get to the point at which they could teleport at will.
No. Not just teleport, gate.
Look, he
That's
wasn't
someone
able to
technically
use high enough
summoning,
powers
like-
to gate. Yeah.
hordes of angels at will.
Well,
Well, that is not the next one on their list, which is Fighter. Fighter was treated pretty well, from what
Yeah,
I
Fighter
saw.
made out Fighter in Starfinder and in Second Edition made out like a bandit as just
Indeed.
very strong classes.
Very nice.
And you know, there's a part of me that doesn't like that as much because, like, the way archetyping works, if you want the feats that are good for fighting, I guess it tracks that you should archetype into fighter. But, like, I do not think that should happen at the expense of the champion, the ranger, the barbarian, say.
I'm sorry.
The
Why-
There are
fighter,
other classes than fighter that do more
Right.
that do melee.
I know.
right?
But
It's just
or even
fighter,
to go farther with that, only the fighter, as someone who built a horse archer and then realized he built the horse archer really wrong, only the fighter has the good archery feats.
Yeah. They definitely designed the fighter in 2e, at least in the playtest that we got to, as the master at arms class. The guy who can pick up any weapon off a bench and kill a dozen men with it.
And while that's
Indeed.
pretty cool,
Which, well, I understand like why people see that and they're like, well, why don't the other martial classes do this? And I think the other martial classes don't do this is because they have a niche that they've had since Legacy Pathfinder, and the fighter is just now getting its own niche that isn't I have more feats than everyone else.
Right. It is the master at arms. I felt like it gave the fighter, like you said, a bit more of its own character. It wasn't just a dip class anymore. It's a great dip class now with archetypes, but even so, like if you're going to play a champion, well, then be a champion of whatever. That's kind of the idea of it. And the archetypes free it up to where you may be a champion who takes an archetype in wizard, or you may be a bard who archetypes into druid. You know, those are options that are going to be there, or they should be there. Every class should have an archetype. Paizo.
And they do. As of update 1 point some odd, every one of the classes has an archetype.
Okay. Yes, King.
Is there? I don't know. Do we have we should get like a talking stick or something? Because I don't want. I hate talking over other people, and I do it all the time because there's a delay.
Yeah.
And I always feel bad.
Me too.
The even archetyping into fighter, because that's something I did with Cashew. Even archetyping into Cashew using your feats and all that. You get fighter class features, but you don't get fighter class features that are as good as the fighter's normal class features.
Right.
Because I could get stuff like extra reactions or just outright the ability to have attacks of opportunity, which a lot of the classes don't have.
Mhm. I'm
and
not
the
sure how
fighter
I feel about that.
very notably does. I think that's also just them expanding on the fighter he's a fighter. He fights people. He fights bitches. And the you would Jesus. Cashew could get stuff like the ability to take attacks of opportunity and make combative reactions during combat, but he only got like one per day or like one per combat or something like that. And I had to invest further into that archetype, into feats into that archetype to be able to do it the same way that the fighter could, because I believe the base fighter could just do as many attacks of opportunity as he was allowed, like if he had
his reaction.
The
And
base
he-
fighter had attack of opportunity as a reaction. The fighter archetype gave you the attack of opportunity reaction once a day, and then
Yes.
another class feat gave it as the fighter.
Yes, because I had to invest more heavily to do what the fighter was doing. So I could do it. I could ape what the fighter was doing, but I would never be as good at it as the fighter was. And that the similar thing applied to all of the the archetyping. And I actually, something I do really like about second edition Pathfinder is how the archetyping has sort of allowed you to like have a taste of the other classes without just being able to rip whole cloth from them. So if you archetype into Druid, you can do a little wild shaping, but you're going to be able to do it like once a day. You're not going to be able to do it all the time like a Druid would be able to do, unless you want to invest more significantly into doing that sort of thing.
Indeed. It makes the class system really blurry as well. And I think that's it almost feels like you're playing a Gestalt character, just right out. But like the choices are a little more like modal.
Yeah,
which makes the building really interesting.
I like how modular it is.
Right.
Or how appearing seemingly modular it is. It's definitely still a classed system, but they've introduced elements of a more modular point by E classless system.
Yeah. Well, you
Aspect.
have.
Remember, kid, you can dump your stat below 10, but make sure you don't inconvenience your party.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
gosh.
No, okay,
Change
yeah.
that.
Do we want to bitch about that for 5 minutes?
I'm just trying to trigger at him.
Monk was pretty good from what I saw. Pretty standard carryover. From
Yeah,
the
no,
Monk.
agreed.
Ranger got better from what I understood.
It did. One of the best changes. I thought the Ranger was really good to start because in a multiple attack penalty system, anything that reduces penalty is as good as a buff, which makes it really good. And then to add on the fact that the Ranger could, though I don't like it, in exploration mode could like hunt target when like I see tracks of dog. Why are you hunting a dog? I don't know, but like I'm gonna hunt target on that dog so I don't waste the first action of my combat turn. That's really cool, and it's really flavorful, and it's really powerful.
Switching your target, yeah. No more. If you don't have a favorite enemy anymore. You have like a thing that you know that you are tracking right then. You move.
You have Smite Evil.
Yeah,
Well,
it's much better. Much better.
To swap really quickly back to Legacy Pathfinder, when we were talking about the Primalist for Blood Rager, however long ago,
Now we're gonna bring up the Skirmisher.
No, I was gonna say the objectively superior. That's Skirmisher is a rogue. The objectively
Skirmisher is definitely a Ranger archetype. It gets like the Hunter gets Skirmisher tricks in class.
tricks. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking of a different rogue archetype that functions the way the Scout does in 3.5.
It's Scout.
Is it Scout?
Yep.
It is not. The Scout Pathfinder archetype, I'm playing 3.5 on Monday nights. There is a Scout in the party. It doesn't function the same. Scout is my favorite rogue archetype.
Yeah, but he's talking about the Pathfinder Scout. Anyway,
He's talking about the Pathfinder Skirmisher.
No,
There's
there's a rogue archetype that lets you move a certain amount and it lets you sneak attack. Anyways, for the Ranger, the like objectively superior Ranger archetype is Guide, because it lets you apply your highest, so your first, so your first and only favorite enemy bonus to a specific target.
Yeah. Also, you're right. I had to think about it more. They don't play the same. The Scout, Pathfinder Scout can sneak attack on a charge, which is not something that 3.5 Scout does, but that's a different continue.
Yeah.
right.
At higher levels, you move a certain amount per round, and you count them as flat-footed. But the Guide, you zero out in on a dude, and you're like, that guy's ass is mine. Like you just
his ass is grass.
You get all
it's mowing season.
it's duck season. You zero all of your bonuses duck season. You zero in all of your bonuses duck season on all of one guy. On one guy, and you just annihilate him. And if you combine like Skirmisher and Guide, because they actually stack, you're a single target destruction engine. And I think they've done a little bit more of that with the Ranger in second edition with the tracking and stuff, being able to zero in on a target instead of like a category of thing.
Yep. And
Which is better.
I liked the Rangers reworks. The Rogue seemed to be doing well. Seemed to be doing all right.
I want them to
Long
make
dex to damage.
or Brute Rogue better, because right now it seems like the Dex Rogue is still like far and away better than the other ones.
That is a
It always
problem,
will be.
Paizo. Dex is applied to so much. It's still the master stat. So,
Mhm.
Open Legend deals with that. But we're not talking about Open Legend right now. Sorcerer. Sorcerer seemed about what it was, and
I haven't played one.
something.
One thing I will
I
say
like
about
the
one thing I will
changes
say
that-
about the sorcerer is I'm really glad the sorcerer got updates in playtest, because it was really like the first min-maxing video we made for the playtest was a sorcerer, and I didn't realize the sorcerer had delayed class feats to instead be mandated a bloodline power. And then we made a video about that, and then a couple weeks later it comes out that the sorcerer is going to change and the bloodlines aren't like you take a class feat to get your bloodline. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. After that, it was really good. Also, like, I really enjoy the flavor of now your sorcerer being one of 4 different spell lists, depending on who you are. Like, for example, I GM'd for him twice, and the character looked completely different each time, but like Xandu in Lord of the Caliber. When we went to the playtest, it was an entirely different build, correct? But, like, the psychic bloodline for the sorcerer gave you 5 psychic spells, and I just saw Xandu lightning bolt a bunch of dugs, which is great. But a psychic sorcerer, that is not. You know what I mean? And with the change here, they can actually do that.
Yeah.
I do like that they are incorporating psychic stuff and occult stuff directly into the core area. That
Instead
is
of
nice.
waiting for Dream Scarred Press to do it and then writing over it with official stuff.
Yeah. So Sorcerer was pretty good.
I don't think this is good.
A fine line exists also between a psionic and a psychic. As someone who has played in GM both sides, like, I can make a blade with my mind is not like the mesmerist's painful stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
There-
difference between Psylocke and Jean Grey.
Precisely. Yeah. And Psylocke is just a DSP character, isn't
What
she?
lightsaber?
Yeah, she is.
Bruh.
And then Wizard. Yeah.
That seems fine to me.
Yeah, it feels like it feels like a lizard. It feels like a wizard. It looks like a wizard. I
It
haven't.
must be the lizard wizard.
Yes, I haven't felt any need to complain about the wizard so far. It doesn't seem underpowered. It doesn't seem overpowered, but that remains to be seen, I suppose.
Levi, you had something?
I mean, I was basically just being like, yeah, the wizard's pretty nicely. I think just in general, the removing stats as like bonus spells and reducing how fast stats can scale helps make the wizard not as terrifyingly overpowered as it goes up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
True.
this is a real big part of it.
Which, yeah, that lets the wizard stay in about the same range. I mean, they're still superior to the fighter in the sense of certain things they can do. But if the fighter gets a hold of a wizard,
Yeah,
he can still hit the wizard type thing.
And
man.
you can't throw in as many crazy ways to stop them as you used to. And you can't break the action economy anywhere near as hard as you used to.
Yeah,
5 foot step, I cast hold person, sit Belarus.
definitely feels like sit Inuyasha. It feels like the difference between
That was abusive relationship. Inuyasha and Kimiko, whatever her name is.
Kagome?
Kagome have an abusive relationship.
Kagome!
Kagome is literally abusive to him.
lines of all of Inuyasha.
I'm just saying. Kagome is
Yes, it was
literally abusive to him.
Yeah, she was also in high school. She didn't. I mean, it's not necessarily to forgive it, but she didn't know no
If
better.
it had
She just
been
thrown back in
if the
damn feudal
genders
Japan.
had been reversed, it would have been a lot different.
Yeah, but also he was part demon and kind of a dickhead.
You kind of need to have
she
the
was
power to
full-
stop him before he kills you.
She was full human and also a jerk. So
She's also, they're all teenagers. They're all horrible people on the inside. Except
Also,
for
it was
Cruella.
90s anime. Give it a break.
Yeah.
Excuse you, that was early 2000s and my
Early
childhood.
2000s. I feel like it was.
Was it?
I watched it late night on
I'm
television.
telling you.
Canada's like 10 years behind America.
It was probably 90s anime that was just dubbed in the 2000s.
Oh man, I have. Oh
You
man, if you're
cowards.
10 years behind, then I got some shit coming up for you. Avoid Full Metal Alchemist.
Shut up.
Wait until they come
What?
back and do Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
No, we have
Trust me,
Brotherhood.
you'll
I have
thank me later.
Netflix, my brother. I have Netflix. Like I know.
All right, that's not this.
Also, you're right. The first Inuyasha debuted in 97. Y'all win.
Oh shit, boy! I have opinions about the next bulletin point. Hundreds and hundreds of spells, class features, and other exciting abilities to help you customize your character to become the hero you envision her to be. The first opinion I have about this, sorry I've hijacked your show, Adam, is I really hope that hundreds and hundreds of spells, class features, and other exciting abilities is applied in equal measure and not hundreds and hundreds of spells. Full stop, period, separate sentence,
No.
class features, and other exciting abilities. As was apparent in Legacy Pathfinder, with their 9,000 fucking spells. Spells in every book. Spells in books that didn't need spells. You could have added more class features and feats into books like Ultimate Combat,
Yeah.
which didn't need spells.
Ultimate Combat did not need spells. You are correct.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure there's even fucking spells in the martial artist handbook.
Yeah.
There definitely is. As someone who is using that to build his brawler now.
Yeah, as someone who as a book, if ever there was a book that didn't need goddamn magic in it, the martial artist handbook.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I agree. This hundreds and hundreds of spells things is definitely, and it definitely applies to all of them. The problem is, like what you're saying, is it equally applied? Are we going to, not equally literally, but is attention equally applied to each?
Yeah.
Are you going to get enough customization in the spells? Are you going to leave the spells open enough to be creative with them so you don't need a whole bunch of spells? Because with spending higher spell slots, like you can do, you don't need Fireball bazillion. You just need
Yes,
fire.
you do. Sorry.
and then you just build it up because you can keep
Like,
stacking
say
the
if you
build up.
cast a fireball out of a 7, well, whatever slot is appropriated, it became a delayed fireball if you wanted it to.
Mhm.
And it's just the one spell known.
That just involves reworking the magic system, which is already kind of kerjankety, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but the point being that if you do more of that, you have more room to make the other stuff you want.
hmm But I more so meant things like adding 50, 60, 70 new spells in every single softcover book.
Yeah.
So
And don't
that
and super niche spells too, like spells that are not even useful. There are other spells that can do that. Why are you
Okay,
adding a
if you're going to do
specific spell
niche spells,
for it?
make them rituals, please.
or
Yes.
or spells that are so good for their level that they have to be errated later.
Yeah.
Looking
Like
at you,
Snowball.
Chained Summoner.
Looking at you, Snowball. Yeah, looking at you, change Summoner's second level haste spell.
Indeed. Fucking Snowball, yeah, for real.
Who got high and
Wait,
fought
what? How
What was
powerful is
Snowball on
Snowball? Because I just looked
Errata?
at it as like a source and it's like, oh, this seems okay.
Uh,
It's just
and
kind
it used to
of
be
like
just a
a-
flat.
the
I think
pre-errata used to also fatigue and hit touch AC.
What?
So you did like it was like a first level spell that hit touch AC. It did cold damage, which is better than fire damage. Period. It
Yep.
fatigued on a save.
Mhm.
Wait, on a save?
I think so.
Yeah,
Or
it was.
maybe-
If I remember correctly, it was save your fatigue, fail to save your staggered. I think.
That's
No, that would be
huge.
the other way around then.
I mean, yeah, that's
It would be because
Even so,
staggered
that's
is way
huge.
worse.
Indeed. That's what I'm saying. Like, pass the save, you are fatigued. Fail the save, you are staggered at
Yeah,
level 1.
It was just a save or suck spell at level 1.
yeah. that would
Damage
be
to
a-
boot.
But
You
yes,
critique no matter what.
the
Okay.
The
You know,
hundreds and
it was
hundreds thing.
anti-barbarian, the spell.
It says and other exciting. It says spells, class feats, and other exciting abilities, which makes you wonder. I mean, what are they alluding to there? Because you've got. Are you including the things you already mentioned with ancestries? Because you
Well, yeah,
should, 'cause
they
you
have
already
to
mentioned those.
they have to count ancestries and backgrounds and the classes themselves and all their related abilities, so that
And
they
the archetype
so
feats
that
and
they
the
can,
prestige classes.
yeah, so that they can buff out the number to make it
Hundreds and
the
hundreds.
sickening number of spells seem less disproportionate.
Yeah, but if they don't do this, like, then they're not learning from Legacy Pathfinder and its issues, which means they're not going to learn from issues from Legacy Pathfinder that need fixed in this edition.
Yeah.
So, it says streamlined and revised rules to help ease new player into the game while providing the depth of character options and tactical interest that have defined Pathfinder from the beginning. The reason I don't like this is because those 100 pages could very easily be a beginner box in the book. And beginner boxes are almost exclusively dumb. Don't like them.
Well, beginner box dungeons
Yeah.
are exclusively
Well,
dumb.
not just the dungeons. They also dumb down the character creation so that you don't fully understand your character. When I have a new player, I don't introduce them with a slimmed down character sheet. I introduce them with an actual character sheet.
Well, I might like having streamlined character creation rules in the core book if I'm introducing a new like full version of the game, just for like introductory purposes. So I think having, a dozen, 20 pages or something at the beginning of the book, like this is simplified character creation rules, full character creation rules start on this page. I wouldn't have a problem with paying full price for a book that had that in it. Because if I wanted to bring someone new into the game that I didn't want to hand a 700-page textbook to, I would appreciate having that resource at my fingertips.
Well, then my thing is, if you want that though, that should be a free PDF that they can download that has this is how you make because they do that with the they already do that type of thing with their not Adventure League, Pathfinder Society. They already do that. You get a guide on how to make a character for Pathfinder Society for free. You know why? Because they want you to make a Pathfinder character in Pathfinder Society so they can get you to buy books. So
Because you have to have the books to play the character.
Right. So why then do you have a core rulebook that would include that type of thing? I understand, like, including, hey, if you don't want to roll up, here's some stat arrays or stuff like that, because that's, no big deal. In fact, second edition from the playtest very much favors stat arrays to anything else. You're basically just picking a stat array when you're assigning your character's ability scores, again, which I'm not super fond of.
Fun fact, most of the characters I've built in the Pathfinder playtest seem to have 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, and then like a racial buff, which is weird.
Something that's mentioned in the comments of this thread that I'm curious about with future publishing in second edition is how long will we be waiting for the pocket edition versions of these books? I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the pocket editions of the books, or if I have one within arm's reach to show you. But
I have seen them.
Yeah, the pocket editions of like the core rulebook and the bestiaries and a bunch of the other books, or a fistful of the other books at the very least, were the paperback versions of the rule books that were sort of condensed down, a little bit smaller font size, and obviously, like I said before, paperback. And I found them to be quite durable. They're a lot easier to transport. They're a lot lighter. They're cheaper. And I liked them. I like them a lot For the I would rather have a hardcover core book that I paid out the nose for because it's a textbook and it's $60-$70. And then the pocket editions of a lot of the others, like the bestiaries and stuff, like things that I'm going to be flipping through a lot, and I don't want to have to deal with parsing through a hardcover book with F4. So yeah, no, I am actually also curious as to how far into production we're going to have to wait before pocket editions start showing up in second edition.
Just from the thread, they said that don't expect even for the core rulebook before the first year is out.
No, and I don't either because like we didn't see pocket editions for first edition till ages and ages ago. But like, if it's in the second year we start seeing paperbacks, that's a hell of a lot better than like
8 years
16
in the line.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, I think they saw that people liked those and want them, so it probably will be sooner than 8 years, 6 or 8 years down in the line. But I've never preferred them, but other people do. So
yeah. Oh well, yeah. But like, don't expect them to advertise them. You have to go looking for them. Go to the website and look up the pocket editions. They don't advertise the pocket editions because they're cheaper.
How cheap are the pocket editions?
Like $20 or more cheaper than the hardcover books.
Yeah, Kane's
exponentially
right.
cheaper,
Ooh, that's
unreasonably cheaper. That's all I'm saying.
they would be a lot cheaper to ship and make.
Yeah, they're
Not-
like for things
not
like the
3
bestiaries.
times the price as much of cheaper.
Yeah, if you're someone who like wants to keep copies of all the bestiaries and stuff on hand, get all of your bestiaries in pocket editions if you can.
Yeah, and I mean shipping in the case of like if you buy from your like local gaming store, they can ship more of it to the store for the same price because of the reduced weight and space.
Yeah, I get that.
So like I see how like delivering to someone's house wouldn't be drastically cheaper. Although I mean getting it to the warehouse is cheaper still, but
Well, I don't
anyway.
know.
Actually, probably less than that. Because on the site right now, everything for Legacy Pathfinder and free, like public service announcement. If you're still interested in buying books for Legacy Pathfinder, pretty much every pocket edition book on the Paizo website, $20.
It's not
$20
that's a good
for
bet.
like 320, 328. It's got to be divisible by 8 for printing purposes. Pages of textbook,
Good.
of
Indeed.
rule book, $20. Ultimate
To say nothing of Humble Bundle when
Yeah.
that happened.
100%, exactly.
That was actually the thing that finally got me into playing Pathfinder, because I was able to get the books for cheap, and I started reading them,
Yeah,
and I was like, "This is so cool!"
$20. Ultimate Campaign Pocket Edition, $20. Ultimate Wilderness Pocket Edition, $20. You want to get into Pathfinder right now? Pocket Edition, $20.
Yeah.
Seriously,
And-
though, that Humble Bundle alone, even though I only got like the basic stuff, still got me super interested.
Oh yeah, no, I have like $700 or $800 worth of books for $25 off Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned it. They're doing the Humble Bundle, the rule books, the rule books, the books of rules.
Correct. Right
That's,
now.
That just reminded me the last time they did this, they did one for the Dark Horse comic books right after it, and I should keep an eye on Humble Bundle.
So wait,
But-
what all books are in this Humble Bundle?
Not Dark Horse. I keep saying Dark Horse. Dynamite. Pathfinder.
Yep, I got 'em.
Humble Bundle did a deal for a bunch of Pathfinder for PDFs for Pathfinder, Legacy Pathfinder, like a couple of years ago. They're doing it again for the 10th anniversary.
It was
where-
actually last year that they did that, or
No, they did it like last
no,
month.
it was
it
think it
was
was
a couple
February.
years ago. You guys are right.
yeah, but like before that, it was years ago. But they after that one, they did another Pathfinder Humble Bundle for all of their Dynamite Press comic books, at least for the PDF versions of the comic books. And I missed it. And if I was going to buy more Pathfinder stuff at this point for what I own already, it would definitely be the comic books because I like them a lot, but they are expensive.
Yeah, I got them on PDF now, also in that bundle, and it was good. I could pay for it that amount.
Send them to me illegally.
Hey, you're part of the Planar Crossroads, so it's research, right?
Yeah, it's research. It's totally copious. It's not a big deal.
But
What are you doing? Reading
Nothing.
the book?
We're not doing anything. Shut up.
What am I doing? Reading the book. Reading the
Not
book.
doing
You reading the book? Where'd you get that
Read the
book?
book.
I got it from a bookstore. What
Got it
bookstore?
from your mama.
Bookstore.
Internet.
Internet?
bookstore.
Internet bookstore. What's the name of the internet bookstore? Internet bookstore. What's its URL? Internetbookstore.com. Really? Really?
Yeah, really. You can't stop me. Do it. Google it. Fight me.
all right, so that's us meandering around the idea of the Pathfinder core rulebook. They really should put 2nd edition on that. All in all, I think that it's going to be good as far as mechanics go if they improve like they're supposed to be doing. But my overall idea of it is they are trying to compete with 5e by making at least this is what I felt I got that they were doing. They were trying to compete with 5e by making streamlined rules that would let people get into the game easier and appeal to a wider audience. I don't know that this is going to accomplish that simply because it's a 640-page rule book, and that's a lot to put down in front of a new player. That's a big PDF to try to send to somebody. I don't know that it's going to work for them. I think that they are, instead of behaving like industry leaders, they're following an industry leader, like in this case WotC.
That's what they did with Pathfinder Legacy, though.
Okay, but they don't have to do that with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. They could be a leader in the industry by leading, by changing policies and doing things differently than WotC does. They could do that, but I don't know that this is going to be the product that they do it with. So, all in all, my opinion is I'm going to keep my opinions open. I am going to buy the book. I'm not going to pre-order, I don't think, because I pre-ordered playtest and y'all changed it like that. And I was working on something to help promote your product, but you didn't do it. I'm still salty about that. I need to let that go.
Yeah. Well.
But final
Speaking
thoughts, guys?
Well, super tangentially, because
Because you're the king
welcome
of
to us.
tangents.
no, I was going to say because I drink a lot of whiskey. When you were at PaizoCon, Tommy, did you get a chance to go to the Lisa Stevens Story Hour?
No, because I was at Gen Con, but yes, I did.
What?
Yes or no?
I did not go to PaizoCon. I went to Gen Con, and whilst I was at Gen Con,
Gen
yes,
Con.
we did sit in on the Lisa Stevens Story Hour. Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty interesting. Actually, I don't know their names. I've kind of talked to them, but like I'm really busy and I kind of fell off. But one of the guys from No Direction was sitting like right next to me as we were in the little room listening to her talk about stuff. And yeah, it was cool.
Param or
No,
no.
I can't think of his name. Not Param. Or no, it was Param. Because I'm friends with the other one on Facebook, and his name is Jefferson J. Thacker.
Yeah, Jefferson
So
J.
Okay.
Yeah.
In any case, yes, I did go. Yes, it was fun.
Yes.
Okay. Any final thoughts, people, on Pathfinder Core Rulebook?
I will say, from my perspective, I have and I'm going to humble brag, I guess, real quick here. I have a unique perspective on it, given that that's like, if you're watching this video, you're probably watching this video because I promoted it at some point a year ago when the playtest came out that I was doing this with these guys, and whoop de boop, but here we are. And I'm starting to realize that a lot of the comments I'm getting on my videos are like kind of what like Kane was saying earlier about how this could be Paizo's sophomore slump, basically. I'm not 100% committed to saying that yet. I'm gonna get the thing and run the thing. But I will say that, like, having seen no changes yet, I guess I'm a little apprehensive about it, but time will tell. As far as the bigger rulebook goes, you get him, Kane. As far as the bigger rulebook goes, I think it's because, like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's great. I think, like Adam was saying, 5e is a thing. 5e is the more popular of the, like, there's a reason Critical Role has made millions of dollars on a Kickstarter, because they have the more popular game. It's easier to like stream and stuff.
I'd argue
that's an entirely different tangent, though. Yeah. What I mean is, I feel like we're trying to, like, here's 5e's simplicity, here's the bloat of Pathfinder. So that's why, like, I'm not super worried about a 640-page book, but, like, in my own, as we're budding out into the content creator world at BDG, I want to make sure that for lack of a better word, I want to make sure all my feats are at least green feats, if not blue or quasi-blue, rainbow, purple, depending on the guide. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When you go get the guide for the class. Yeah, precisely. I worry that a 600-page book means that there's going to be some real stinkers, but I suppose that remains to be seen, doesn't it?
All right. Levi, you got any final stuff?
Honestly, nothing of particular note. I'm probably not going to buy the rulebook as it comes out, mostly because money, and, like, I'm transitioning how stuff goes, and money's not amazing. So, but I mean, I'll be happy to try it out and play it, but I don't know.
Okay. Ross, any final thoughts about it?
I want to remain optimistic. I want to remain thinking that it will be cool. I'm just still nervous.
Yep. All right, then. Well, thank you, travelers, for stopping by.
Or does nobody else have final thoughts?
No?
That was everyone.
That didn't. Did anyone ask Kane what his thoughts were?
I thought you gave your final thoughts.
Your final thoughts were to ask me about my time.
Yeah, that was your final thoughts. You used it on his time at
He used it to ask if Tommy had a good time.
Fine, you drunk Canadian jerk. Get your final thoughts out there.
No, I want extra final thoughts. I got so many thoughts to give.
You have more thoughts incrementally related to how much you drink.
That's
accurate.
Is kind of how that works, my man. I'm not gonna lie. I know that a lot of the people in this chat don't drink for either personal reasons or because it will destroy their organs.
I'll die. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. I didn't want to do it like a big thing. I just wanted to say that I think I will buy it, if for no other reason than to just have the book. I've definitely bought rule books that I keep on my bookshelf just because I'm like, hey, look at that. And I think this will definitely be one of them. I will buy it, and hopefully I like it because I have the spare pocket change to get it. But if it ends up not being for me, it will be something that collects dust on my bookshelf. And shame on me at that point. But also shame on you, Jason Bowman and Lisa Stevens and the rest of the development team for selling me a product that I don't want to use.
All right. See, this is why we don't have sponsors, okay? You've got to support us if you wanted this stuff to
And if you want to continue listening to
Yeah.
Kane being really drunk
He's salty.
and rambling.
I'm not that drunk, okay? I'm giving an opinion.
All right.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, we don't have sponsors, so you guys support us. That's just how
Yeah,
it is.
I'm always worried about Tommy. He comes on this channel and he says he doesn't like things about Pathfinder. And I'm like, oh no, don't. Jason will see. And then I remember our subscriber count. And I'm like, no,
Our
never mind.
subscriber count is almost to 500. Thank you.
Jason will not see.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
we're-
kind of in the same boat. Like, Paizo's been really good to me, but like, Paizo didn't start a bidding war at the second or third to last episode of A Simple Job to raise money on my Patreon so I can become a third-party creator.
well,
Right? Like, I'm in the same boat as y'all.
I don't feel like you have the Twitch presence to necessitate that, unfortunately.
This is the bid. No, I mean like between Josh and T, two of my high-tier patrons. I outbid each other a couple times.
Okay.
I mean, did
No.
you tweet at him?
I know.
Did I tweet at
I
my
know.
patrons? No, they
Okay.
were in the chat.
No, I mean,
we're not
at
talking about
Pathfinder.
patrons
Tweet
and
at
stuff.
Pathfinder.
We're supposed
Yeah.
to be signing off, okay? So thank you, travelers. We hope you had a great time. Remember that all the content you see here is supported by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.